All right. Oh, hold on, VIPs. We'll do this one step. All right. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my, no, I'm not in the drop top. But I am cruising these coaching streets. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to night school, night 3 of Coaching in Action Week. I am so excited to have you joining me. Thank you so much. Thank you for my VIPs who are in the room. And thank you all thank you to everyone who's been rocking with me all week. We have 2 more days and nights to go. Whew, I don't know about you, but it has been jam-packed full of information, and I hope that it is giving you value. As a matter of fact, I know it does. I know it does. So forgive these headphones if it looks like it's clashing. It's because something happened to the ones this morning, and everything has USB or wireless, but I'm still on my laptop and it doesn't have that connection. So I had to go old school. And someone asked, well, why don't I use the wireless ones? And I'll be honest, because I don't trust them yet when I'm doing stuff like this and I have to record. So I need to take some time to practice using them. For that, I use them for my phone, but I want to make, this is just too much for me to go through all of that and realize that nothing was picked up. So that is that. So we are talking about F-bombs, and we've been dropping F-bombs along our path to possibility. So if you are just new to me, even though this is night 3, welcome. I am Dr. Brittany Ticklen-White. I go by Dr. B, and I am a certified and credentialed life coach. And what that means is I have degrees, but then I also have certification in life coaching as well. I've transitioned from being in the education space as a college professor, as a college consultant, and then now into this space of coaching. I help mostly women, but there have been a few men as well. I help them go through their reinvention or their next transition in life, whether that's in another pathway for a career or coming out of their careers altogether, or just dealing with life. And it's like, especially my high achievers, my highly successful people, like, all right, now what? I help them answer that now what question. That's really what I sum up. That sums up everything that I do. And then I also help you reimagine and readream. So the tagline is embrace your brilliance, expand your life, explore the possibilities so you can erupt your reality. All right, so Coaching in Action Week. I'm so excited about this. We're going to do a quick recap. And then I will say this, my VIPs earlier today, they allowed me some time and space to talk to you all about what's next after Coaching in Action Week. So hopefully the VIPs are allowing me to do that tonight as well. And they understand. I'll make it up to them. So we'll talk about what's next after this, because I don't want to just give you all this information, take you through this journey, and then you're like, oh, well, that was fun, because that would not be a good idea. That's irresponsible as a coach. And we'll talk more about that later. So to catch you up, we are talking about the pathways of possibilities. And again, if you're new to me, why am I talking about this, especially now? I think there are a lot of people who've been doing great in their professional life and in their business lives, and they realize, I've been here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and this can't be it. And it's not that they're ungrateful, and it's not that you're ungrateful, but there's just something that pulls you and say it has to be more. And I believe that happens because we stopped dreaming. When we were younger, and I said this, I think on night 1, when we were younger, it was kind of a path put in place for us, a possibility, like the possibility of you going to college, or the possibility of you starting a certain career, or going to the military, or going to culinary school, whatever that possibility was, you had something to look forward to. So you were taking the steps because there was a clear path for you to do that. Then you got there, you achieved it, you've done well in it, and now you're like, well, is this it? And it's not that you're not content, but I don't think we've allowed ourselves to continue to stretch and dream, because no one has really said, all right, now this is also possible for you, or what's possible, but you haven't given yourself permission to know that possibility is a reality. So you've been probably your mind has probably been cluttered with so much stuff. And it's like, it's just easier for me to just sit right here. And I'll give you an example of that later, but I think you may have been saying, I've tried this. I've tried to move forward with my life, but it's something that keeps knocking me down. So I gave the example in the morning class talking about the game whack-a-mole. And I'll give you two examples if you don't know what that game is. So whack-a-mole is when you have these little pop-up things that, a lot of them are at like carnivals and things like that. They like little pop-up things out the ground, and you're supposed to hit it with a hammer. And the more you hit them, the more you get rewarded for that. So I think a lot of times we have the possibility, we're like, oh, that sounds good. Oh, I want to go do that. Then it's like life, get back down there. Something else happens, like with your family or friends. Don't you jump out there too much. Or it could be you with your own stick and your own negative thoughts saying, that's a dumb idea. Who wants to write a book? Not you. You don't have time. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want a new car? Right? So then it gets to a point where you're like, man, forget it. My head hurts. I'm tired of popping up. So I help you to put down that stick and stop beating yourself up. Or if you're letting external factors knock you over the head, I help you to not even build a shield. Because at first I was like, build a protective layer. No, we're going to get away from that altogether. Another example of that is elephants in the circus. Now, I used to love going to the circus and watching elephants until I realized what they do. And I was like, oh, that's so cruel. So in order to train an elephant to do all of those tricks, the trainers put these massive shackles on their ankles so that they know how to stay in line. They started when they're young, even though they're still big creatures when they're young, but they haven't been conditioned yet. So they're like, well, let's condition you in these chains. So probably when they're younger, they're fighting, but that chain is just keeping them in line. And then as they get older, then it's like the trainers start putting a rope on there, so no more heavy chains. And then the elephant will try to move, but they feel something on their leg, and they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do too much because I know that chain is going to keep bringing me back. Until one day the trainer doesn't need anything at all. So it used to be like something as simple as this rope could keep an elephant in place. Then they've been conditioned so much that now they don't even try. So that could be you. Have you ever tried to step out and do something, but you've gotten beaten down so much that you're like, you know what? I don't even want to try it anymore. Don't worry about it. I'm good right here. And I'm here to say that's unfortunate because you're free. You're actually free to do whatever you want. And I'm also here to help you loose that mental bondage that's in your heads. I know all about that because I had to do that for myself, and I've helped other people do that. Someone messaged me and asked, why am I doing all of this for free, Coach Week, and giving you an actual format and an actual framework and teaching you actual steps? Well, one is because I believe that whoever wants to work with me and drawn to me, they will do that, regardless if I give them something for free or not. Think about school. Technically, you can learn everything you need to know out here on these internets, right? Especially my background is mathematics. Technically, you can learn anything you want about mathematics for free. But it's something about going to college or going to a classroom or having a tutor and work with you on the problems for you to ask questions, being in the environment, getting that deep dive and guiding you along the way. And then quite frankly, helping you kind of shortcut through some of this stuff, if you had to learn it on your own. I did a live, I can't remember when I did it live, but it's on here in the feed. And I said, it's easy for me if I hand you this advanced calculus book. Sure. You can go through all this and learn it by yourself. And if you don't have the background in it, it may take you a little while, but how much easier would it be if you had someone who knows this information to walk you through this so it wouldn't feel as intimidating? So that's what happens. So working on ourselves, working in transformation, trying to live the life that we were created to live. Some people call it personal development, self-improvement, self-help, with all of that. That's not the most fun thing to do. And so it's like, if you don't, for some people, for a lot of people, if you don't have somebody walking you through, you're like, whatever, I'm not going to do it. So that was a long way to say is that whoever's going to come here, regardless if I give this out for free or not, they're going to come. But I also have a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube and on my Facebook page from back in the day when I would be talking about these things. And I'll show you an example of that later on. I have a whole book that people can get that's on that end. Have a wide range of things from working with me one-on-one all the way up into a mastermind that's $100,000. So me doing this, it is one, to build up my muscle and give back. And two, everyone may not work with me right at the moment. And so anybody that crosses my path, I want to make sure that I leave them with some sort of value if they never hear from me again. So this isn't all about, well, let me just sprinkle a little bit and then try to bait you in here. Nobody has time for that, because if I did that, you end up leaving anyway, and that's just waste both of our time. So there you go. Now, I will say this may not be up forever, because when I talk about the membership, things just go in the vault. So it may not be up forever, but you'll have time to enjoy it. And I'm always putting out content. All right, so getting into it. Night one, we talked about focus. Focus your awareness. And if you have not joined us, the replay is still up. I do encourage you to go watch, because everything builds upon each other. This is a pathway. So you take step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, because we have 2 more nights to go, 2 more steps to go. Now, I'm not saying that you're not up to speed if you came late to the class, but you're going to have to do a little bit more heavy lifting tonight. But it's okay. It's okay. This is the night I need you to actually do the work. So go get your pencil and paper. Y'all know how I feel about you typing notes. That's cool, but I need pencil and paper. Still old school, because there is a connection there. So we talked about focusing your awareness. And remember, this is your possibilities. We're not talking about focus on something that you can easily do. That's not stretching yourself. You want to get that possibility, like the thing that you can dream about, but you're not quite sure, or you don't really share with anyone. The thing that's been on your vision board, if you make them, probably since 2020 or 2019 or 2016. The thing that's been on your vision board that you actually want to do, but you probably don't think that it's possible. And it's not that it's impossible, you just don't think it's possible for you. And that's not what we're here to do. So you have to first focus on your awareness about what you don't want, what you do want, the mindset that you're going to put into practice, and actually start living in that that new possibility, that new thought. You know, it takes practice and getting into action on moving towards that new goal or possibility. The second thing we talked about was find. That's my little magnifying glass. Find your truth. Now, once things start popping up, and this is how this works, when you start realizing, like, yeah, I think I do want that new car, I want that new house. I think I do, I'm ready for a relationship. I want to, to get more healthy in my body. I want a new friend group. I want to up level my spiritual life. Whatever the case may be, then those thoughts start coming up. If you are new to that, I suggested that you look at someone who has achieved what you want and kind of see how their mindset is operating, and adopt those beliefs until they become yours. But then sometimes when you do that, because the brain is designed to keep you safe, it's that whack-a-mole. It's gonna keep knocking you down, or you're gonna feel that restriction again that's really not there. And that's gonna lead us to night 3. And you see, this is a paper with some notes and a pen, because it's called Flip Your Script. Uh-oh. I was about to write splits, like flips, it's split. My brain moves faster than my hand sometimes, or my hand moves faster than my brain. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, you're gonna flip your script. And what does this mean? The script that you're telling yourself, the stories that you keep telling yourself. So when you're trying to adopt a new mindset or a new belief, it's not as simple for a lot of people just to switch it on that quick. Sometimes it comes up, but then your old thoughts beat it back down. So now we have to say, okay, if this keeps happening, remember we also talked about the circle of chaos yesterday. If you keep finding yourself with those unhealthy patterns, even when you try to shift the new mindset, then there's some more work you have to do. So we're going to talk about flipping your script. And this one is going to be just a little shorter. One, because I'm not going to do the rapid coaching because my VIP said I can hold off and they'll stick with me for the rest of the week because I want to talk to you about what's happening after that. But it's also shorter because this part is a two-step process. Now, I know I said I'm not going to hold anything back from you all, but this particular part, I'm not going to go into the deep dive for part one because it will require you to go back into some life experiences. And since you're not in the room with me, like in the virtual space or in the physical room, I don't want to take you down the path and I can't see you or hear you to guide you back out if you take yourself too deep. All right, so I hope that makes sense. That would be irresponsible, if that's that word again, as a coach. Same thing when I was teaching mathematics, I wouldn't, start giving my students problem and then throw something that's major, like having them to do a theorem or something like, we've been up here. I wouldn't take them to go to something, back here and just say, all right, go home and do it, because they're going to get frustrated. They're going to stop believing in themselves. They're going to think the first, like what we were doing was a waste of time. And then when they come back to class, I'm going to have to redo a whole lot of work. So the same thing in this space, especially with this transformational work. I'm not going to take you down memory lane. I'm not going to go through that process and just leave you hanging out there. And I don't know what you're doing behind the screen. Okay. I mean, I'm laughing at it to keep it light, but I'm so serious. So I'll tell you the first part of that, but then we're going to jump to part two. And trust me when I say that, it's not that I'm holding anything back because I'm going to take you through the steps, but I just want to put that out there. So going into flipping the script, it's like reframing the story that you're telling yourself. You're going to go through, you're going to think of a life experience. And I was going to give examples, but earlier they asked me to go through a full process because I was just giving examples as I gave you the prompts. But then someone said, well, can you take us through one of your examples? And I was like, okay, sure. So I'm just going to start off with my example. All right. So I have a life experience that I can think about, and it can be related to your possibility, or just come up with something that's, I don't want to say light, but something that you've overcome. And you're like, okay, I've overcome this, because I guarantee you that if you overcame the situation, you probably haven't gone through this process. So pick something that you've already overcome. Don't pick something that you're in the middle of. Don't pick something that's going to have you laid out and take you into the deep, dark corners. Don't do that, because I can't come get you. So just pick something like, yeah, I did that. And if you're like side-eyeing me, just listen to my example. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give you all of the questions first, because I'm going to give you all of the questions first, let you write them down, sit with it for like a second or two, and then I'll come back and do my example. Cool. What did I say? All right. I'm a swivel board. All right. So the first part is called reframing, which I said I'm not going to take you through, but we're going to do a releasing. So I am assuming that you're on the other side of a situation. So the first question is, what do you need to let go of? You would write it as, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? So write that down. Take me to the sickly bottom. All right, second question. What do I need to forgive? What do I need to forgive? Number 3, what do I love about the lesson? What do I love about the lesson? Number 4, what am I excited about now? Yeah, that one, you're probably back on number 3, like, love, what? Number 4, what am I excited about now? Number 5. Now I know you have not asked yourself this question. Because of this lesson, what new opportunities are available? Ooh. Because of this lesson, what new opportunities are available? All right, somebody say it one more time. All right, cool. First question, what do I need to let go of? Second question, what do I need to forgive? Third question, what do I love about the lesson? Fourth question, what am I excited about now? Last question, number 5, because of this lesson, what new opportunities are available? All right. So I was processing what do I want to go through, what experience. All right, this is a new one. I haven't done this one live. I don't think I've done this in the group either. All right, so I'm going there. All right. So my life experience is being fired as a consultant for this robotics company. Yeah, you didn't know that. I was fired twice in the same year. All right, so what do I need to let go of? I need to let go of how it all went down, how the situation happened. And yeah, I need to let go of that. I mean, I have in a way, but you notice, and this is what I did when I was teaching students math. I would do these things called think alouds, and I did a whole dissertation project on this as well. It's one thing when people tell you how to do something, like when I'm doing my math problems on the board and the students can follow along. But it's another thing when they can see me process or what questions I'm asking myself so they can see how I go to the next step. So that is what you're kind of seeing this in real time, real processing. So what do I need to let go of? I need to let go of how it happened, how it all went down, because it was not clean at all. I kind of like brushed it off, but I can literally feel it coming back to my body on the day and the way that it happened. So I need to let go of that. All right. So not dismissing it, but letting it out of my body. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. What do I need to forgive? I need to forgive my I guess my co-people, the people who I was working with. I need to forgive them for how it went down because they didn't have the courage to come talk to me about an issue. So I need to forgive them for that because there was still some anger. And I want you to understand it doesn't make you a bad person. You can still be angry. Oh, that's my puppy. You can still be angry, but acknowledge that. You know, I'm not as angry as I was when it happened, but I can say I need to forgive them. I think I've let it go, but I actually forgiven them. So that I'm releasing. What do I love about the lesson? I actually love how I handle the situation. I love that I was able to keep my composure, own my truth, use my voice and not cower down. And I do actually love the experience that I had for that short time. What am I excited about now? I'm excited that I get to use that experience, even though I'm in this coaching space. I can use that experience for I'm excited that I can use that experience. I learned a lot, met some different people, learned some more things about myself, and I learned some more systems and structure. So I'm excited that I can use that into my coaching business now. And not even just my coaching business, this infrastructure that I'm building, I'm excited about that. And I will say I learned some things from that company that I'm using now. Because of this lesson, what new opportunities are available? I kind of just shared one. One was learning about infrastructure, but honestly, being able to teach what I want to teach. Because of that, what new opportunities are available? Being able to teach something that I think is very valuable and in a way that I know that it can help other people. I'm also excited that I can still use this, what I'm teaching now, if I choose to go back into, because the robotics company was science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that STEM. which is part of my background. Now I'm even, don't think I'm arrogant when I say this, but now I'm even more powerful with the resources that I learned from that company and knowing about this. So that's where that certified credential comes in. And then I can be able, if I choose to, have that door open. And then I believe that this work can help people in the STEM field as well. Whew, got a little hot. Got a little hot. That was new for me. So I want you to do the same thing for yourself. So what do you go through those steps? Think of a life experience. And I will say this. One, you see that I still use these tools myself. And I just did one live. I have not done that in any of my journals. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back and take a deeper dive to do that. But you would do that, I would say. Now don't get stuck in doing this, because sometimes we can be personal development junkies and we just spend all our time trying to work on ourselves. No, you do something, you clear it, then you get back into action. Okay. So don't sit there, and I should tell the morning class, don't sit there and go through everything, every single thought that pops up, and you take yourself through all of these questions every day and spend hours and hours. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that, because that's going to create another issue. I'll say this, do this a few times, and then you'll start getting into action. And then once you start getting into more action and you get another block, you sit there, go through this process, then you can start saying, okay, let me find out what that is connected to, and let me clear that. The purpose of clearing and releasing is so you can move. Okay? We remember, we clear it, we release, and we move. All of this is about action, because the goal is to make sure our possibilities turn into reality. All right? Are you with me? Whew. All right. So going back, and I'm just going to do a short recap. I told you this one is brief because I have some other things to share with you. We're going to focus our awareness. Now, I did talk about the characteristics that you don't want, but I want you to start focusing more on what you do want. The more you focus on the feeling of what you do want, that's going to lead you into, it's going to guide you to where you want to go. All right. But you can't just keep thinking about it. You have to trust this process and trust yourself in this process. Find your truth. Deal with that circle of confusion. We call it the circle of chaos the other night. Deal with the confusion. Take that confusion out of your head. Stop making it like a mythical creature and put it out on paper. Look at it and deal with it. Okay, you've done this before. Now and it's interesting. The people that I work with, they are like CEOs, VPs, professors, doctors of major organizations and corporations, and they can handle that. And I'm like, well, why aren't you talking to your sister right now? Oh, because it's just so much. Well, what is it? I don't know. It's just so much. So you can go handle this multi-million-dollar company's problems, but you can't tell me why you're upset with your sibling, or why haven't you bought that house you've been wanting? So I'm not trying to minimize it, but I'm saying we're transferring skills, people. We're transferring skills. And I think sometimes we think we should not have problems, especially my high achievers. We should be able to figure it out. There's no shame. You didn't get to that position on your own. You've had coaches all your life. You had teachers, you had mentors, you had tutors. You know, if you went to church, you had community. So you've had coaches all your life. So let's not act like you just showed up by yourself. All right. I mean, I know we like to say we're self-made, or I pulled myself up. Well, somebody was there. So there's no shame in now trying to get your I don't want to say get your life together, but to explore a new side of yourself. Get some help. Don't be out here floundering by yourself. So part of this is, there is a path of possibility, and I'm just here to help you turn on your light so you can shine it and find it and say, oh, there it is. And then maybe you want to join me, we can walk it together. All right, so find the truth. But you do want the mindset, get into action. Once you get into action and you still keep finding yourself knocking up to something, okay, why do I keep hitting this wall? You've taken the confusion and you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, this still doesn't make sense. Well, now you're flipping the script. You're going through, and now you probably have to release something. All right, so you think of the experience that keep popping up to keep, you go into that unhealthy habit, and then you ask yourself those questions. And then for night 4 and night 5, I'll tell you some more things. Night 4 is actually my favorite. Night 4 is where, we climbed the mountain. Night 4 is where we put the stake in the ground and we're about to dive in, and, we're about to soar. But these were the nights that we climbed up. Night 4 is when we really going to do some work. Okay, so you needed to do all of this, shake some stuff off, and be ready for night 4. Because if we don't get past night 4, then we can't get to our pot of platinum or our pot of gold at the end. All right, so that was that. Let me know your thoughts on my VIPs. They said, are we still good? Can I do what we talked about? All right. So if you're enjoying this, thank you so much. I'm so happy. And now I want to show you some different options. The whole part of this week is leading into my membership, Power Up Your Possibilities membership. And some people are like, well, why a membership and not a program? Well, this did start off as a program. It really did. But then I was like, well, after we do, I think I had it like 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Then what? Then I tell you to come on to this other program or work with me one-on-one. And some people do. But then, like when I was doing professional development at schools, and I think I shared this with y'all, it was like when I was on the other end, I'm like, we're just going to go and be here for a couple of days and that's it. Same thing with that robotics company. So we just not going to follow up. What if they have questions in between the time, And it was just nothing. So then I was like, well, I joined the membership, and I can see the power of that, because it's like, well, maybe I don't want to be in a full-on program, but what if I just want some quick inspiration, or I need to just go, just refresh on this exercise or this tool really quickly, or just stay connected to a community, just like going to a gym. Of course, you can watch YouTube channels and videos, and a lot of people do great. But then there's something about joining a membership and being in the environment. And if you want to go take a class, you can, or if you want to do the free weights, you can, or if you want to hire a personal trainer, you can. So that's kind of what this is. This is like your mental membership, your mental, that didn't sound too good, did it? This is like your self-help membership. All right, so this is like being in the community. So let me bring it back. So I'll show you a few things, and then you can be on your merry way. So some people were like, well, I'm not quite sure. What else do you have? And at first I was like, what do you mean? I'm here with you all week, but I do understand. So let me share my screen. Bear with me. So one thing, and this is what I had up for like a whole month. I don't know if you can see. Okay, so this is my blog, but you can also go on my YouTube channel. Well, you are here. But on the blog, drgreen-white.com/blog. And you see this right here says, let's explore your possibilities. When you put your name and email, you get a guidebook, a workbook for these 30 days of 30 action steps to tap into your possibilities. And that's really what led to this coaching in action week, kind of like to sum it all up, because I didn't want to take you in this whole 30-day journey. And I put audios here. So see, take 30, and it's all the way. I will, transparent moment, 1 through 14 is summed up, and I do explain why when you go there. So you'll get the worksheet if you want to follow along. If you want to listen to the audio on my YouTube channel, there's the video version of that. And it's 30 steps or 30 action steps that I talk about that you can actually do to start on your possibilities journey, if you want to say it that way. So you can get this workbook and follow along, and it lists out the steps for you if you want to do that. All right, so that's one way. And it ties into what we're talking about. If you're kind of like, I don't know about the membership, I want more. Well, there you go. The other part I want to share with you. Oh, it was all on the same screen. is the actual membership. Power Up Your Possibilities Incubator. You can read this for yourself if you want to. The link will be in the description. But this is where I really wanted to focus on if you want to get the brochure. And again, you download it, put your email in there so you can get the brochure. And the brochure is something that I just put together so you can actually have it print off if you want to. But some people don't like to just look at the information page. They want something else that takes a deeper dive off of just being online. So download that, and then it will lead you to this page again. So it says, learn step by step how to shatter those mental blocks that are keeping you stuck. I'm not going to sit here and read all of this for you, but then it says, all of that's about to change. Overwhelm and confusion is understandable. However, staying overwhelmed and confused is a strategy and a choice. So yeah, don't use that as an excuse anymore. So then I talk about the point of all of this is implementation is the winner, not your position, title, and degrees. So don't say that I've been thinking about doing something and I should have this or should have that, and you haven't been doing the work. Don't think that you don't have to do any work because you have certain degrees or a position, a status. I have 5 degrees, and I still had to come and do some work in another area to tap into what was possible. And that's why I also talk about being credentialed and certified, because you can't come at me with any kind of excuse. My people who work with me, I can call you out. I know when you're hiding and you're just showing up at 60%, because there are some people who are like, oh my gosh, you're so successful. And that can cause you to be lazy, but I know I can spot it. Okay. So then I do want to get to this part, the founding members part, which is a limited offer. And then there are some people in my VIP. I'm gonna go back to this, so I'm not skipping over. It says 3 days, but I'm going to change it now to March 5th. So when I show you this again tomorrow, it'll say March 5th. So my VIPs were like, well, Dr. B, I know you said you've been talking about this all month, but I mean, can you give us some more time, please? And I was like, okay, I will do it for you because you asked. Now, monthly commitment upfront, $247 a month. It will not be that price. It'll be different after March 5th. And you're probably asking why a 6-month commitment upfront. It's because it allows you not to quit on yourself as soon as you don't see something happening right then. So it's just like when you went to the university, you didn't just take one class and be like, okay, where's my degree? Time for me to get my degree. I don't have time for this. No, you stuck out for like 4 to 5 years and you probably went back for some more. So at least it gets you in there. Oh, another college reference. When you sign up, you at least have to pay for a semester, right? Even if you take one class and drop out, you're still committed to a semester. And I don't want you to quit on yourself. So this is one way to take you through the curriculum, take you through a few more frameworks, and then be with you to implement. So it was like a 2-in-1 kind of thing, and it would take that 6-month span. You can pay in full, or you can have the option to do that and still have option to work with me one-on-one. And if you know what it costs for me, the investment to work with me one-on-one, you know that this is a great route, because all of my stuff, my one-on-one time got a couple digits in there, and it's worth it. I promise. All right. So like I said, this will change to March 5th, founding members, and then the price goes to $297 a month. And then all of these will be adjusted as well. But I do want you to get the brochure so that you can take time, look at it. I asked some questions on there. Let me see. Oh, she's gone now. Let me see if I can switch it over. So the brochure looks like this when you download it. It lets you know everything that's involved. You get interactive coaching calls. So similar to this, there'll be times when I actually do teach a framework. You can show up live if you want to, or watch the replay. Then I'll be answering questions. Now, the difference is some of my VIPs have been shy, so they'll send me the questions and slide them in. But if anyone gets bold enough, and I do have a sample on my YouTube channel where you get on the screen with me, and then we walk you through the process so you can get the results. So it's not just me answering a question, but we have a dialogue back and forth, so it's interactive. And then you get the lounge and learns, and we'll talk more about that when you get into the membership. And then any more resources, anything on demand, anything that I teach out here in the public that I leave up, take down, those go in there. Master teacher masterminds, I have a plethora of people, a community that I can reach out to on a variety of topics. So I know a lot of things, but all things I'm learning to stay in my zone of genius. Even if some things are in my zone of excellence, I was like, it's not my genius. So I do reach out, whatever comes up in the group. So parenting, branding, business, book writing, publishing, health and wellness, and it's a lot. So whatever comes up, I'm pretty sure I can tap somebody in and say, hey, can you come in and be with us for a while? So I talked about that interactive coaching community calls similar to this, lounge and learn, where we do actual workshops together, and then anything that goes in the vault. So you'll get access to resources that I have, things that I teach, and anything that I teach in the future goes in the vault, and you have access to that as long as you are a part of the membership. So you can get this workbook here when you download it. And then if you have more questions about that, we can talk more about that as well. All right. So I wanted to end with that. I hope you've enjoyed so far. Remember, we talked about focus your awareness, find your truth, and flip your script. I really do want you to take some time to go through those questions, because if you don't start that work tilling the ground, then night 4 is not really going to make sense. Or you're going to feel like, well, what did I just walk into? I'm not saying you can't do it. Everything is a standalone process, but remember, this is the path to possibility, and I want you to reach the end of the tunnel. I don't want you to just stay stuck on the path, just digging. So go back and watch the replays. Gear up for night 4. That is my favorite. And I'll explain why when we get there. I'm gonna see anything else I want to cover. VIPs, did I forget anything? No. All right, I showed you all of that. Yes. So again, I know I went over that quickly. You can go back and watch the playlist. There is a playlist, the Brilliant Possibilities playlist. Thank you. That's on my YouTube channel if you don't want to hear the audio, if you just want to look at it. But you do need to go. I think it's in the description bar under my resources tab. I did put in the description bar if you want to download that worksheet. All right, some people say, can I see the worksheet? How y'all want to see the worksheet? Well, I guess y'all see the textbooks. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. All right. Here's the worksheet. Really quickly, morning class. It was like, we didn't get to see it. I was like, well, y'all didn't ask. All right, so very quickly, here is the worksheet, 30 action steps to tap into your possibilities. I give you a little spiel. There you can click this and go to the playlist. And then it just asks you a lot of questions. See, I wasn't playing, it's 30 of them. See, and I'm gonna start right there because I don't want you to see the little surprise that's at the end. So see, it's a real thing. You get that, it's free. Go get it, and then so you can start this journey. All right, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me in night class. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And remember, the world needs you to be well, to be empowered, to be bold, and most importantly, to be brilliant. Until next time, bye. We have to use our hold on.